Space warfare in science fiction is often depicted like this. Or this. Massive battles where warships trade broadsides until one explodes. Or high-speed dogfights where pilots weave between laser blasts. But the reality would be far stranger, because in real space combat, you rarely fire at where your enemy is. You fire at where you think they will be, seconds from now, minutes, hours, maybe even days. The distances are so vast and the speeds so extreme that by the time your weapon arrives, your target could be millions of kilometers away. And if your enemy launches a kill vehicle toward you, you'll know it's coming. You may watch it crossing the darkness between worlds, and there may be absolutely nothing you can do to stop it. This is Dark Beacon, and this is the truth about space warfare.
If Hollywood has taught us anything about space warfare, it's that space is the perfect place to hide. An endless ocean of darkness, millions of kilometers of empty space. Surely finding a single spacecraft out there would be almost impossible. In reality, space is a terrible place to hide, because every spacecraft has a problem. Heat. Whether it's life support, computers, engines, or even the crew themselves, every system aboard a spacecraft produces waste heat. And in the vacuum of space, there's only one way to get rid of it: radiation. Every single watt of energy your ship consumes eventually has to leave as infrared light. To an infrared telescope, your spacecraft isn't disappearing into the darkness. It's glowing, like a campfire on a winter's night. Of course, engineers could try to reduce that signature, shut down non-essential systems, shield hot components, carefully manage where that heat escapes. But there's no escaping the laws of physics. Sooner or later, every joule of waste heat has to go somewhere. In space, stealth isn't impossible, it's just fighting against thermodynamics. But here's the twist: finding your enemy isn't actually the hardest part. Because even when your sensors finally detect another ship, you're not seeing where it is, you're seeing where it was. Light may be unimaginably fast, but it isn't instantaneous. Across the vast distances of space, even light takes time to travel. Every radar return, every laser reflection, every optical image, every infrared detection, they're all arriving late. You're never looking at the battlefield as it exists, only as it existed. Which means every commander in space has exactly the same problem. They're fighting ghosts. And if you don't know exactly where your enemy is, how do you ever hope to hit them?
Science fiction loves dogfights. Two spacecraft twisting and turning through space, pilots reacting in fractions of a second, watching each other's every move. The reality would be very different. Imagine two warships separated by 1 million kilometers. Light takes over 3 seconds to cross that distance. So every time one ship observes the other, it's already seeing events from more than 3 seconds ago. At 10 million kilometers, that delay becomes over half a minute. At the distance between Earth and Mars, it can be more than 20 minutes. Imagine trying to win a gunfight using security camera footage that's 20 minutes old. That's the challenge of space warfare. You aren't aiming at where your enemy is, you're aiming at where mathematics predicts they'll be. Long before a weapon is fired, powerful computers would already be calculating thousands of possible trajectories. Every engine burn, every orbital adjustment, every likely evasive maneuver. The battle becomes a contest of prediction rather than reflexes, and at these distances, the ships themselves may never become more than tiny points of light. No windows, no dramatic flybys, no heroic captain staring defiantly across the void, just distant sensor contacts, numbers on a screen, and probabilities. Your enemy may never appear larger than a star, but once you've predicted where that star will be, the next question becomes terrifying. What do you fire at it?
Most people imagine space weapons carrying enormous explosive warheads, nuclear missiles, antimatter bombs, some futuristic superweapon. But physics has a simpler idea: velocity. Here on Earth, a bullet is dangerous because it's moving quickly. In space, where there is almost no atmosphere to slow anything down, objects can travel vastly faster. And the faster something moves, the more energy it carries. Double the speed, and you don't double the destructive power, you quadruple it. Keep accelerating, and the numbers become almost absurd. A relatively small projectile travelling at several kilometres per second could strike with the energy of a large conventional bomb. Increase that speed further, and even something as ordinary as a lump of metal becomes devastating. At sufficient speed, a brick becomes a strategic weapon. You don't need explosives. The projectile is the explosive. Its kinetic energy is released in a fraction of a second, producing temperatures hotter than the surface of the sun, shockwaves through the target, and clouds of shrapnel that can continue travelling through space at lethal speeds. In fact, adding explosives may simply make the weapon heavier. Sometimes, the simplest projectile is also the most efficient. Which brings us to the truly horrifying part. Once one of these weapons has been launched, there's a very good chance you'll know it's coming, long before it arrives. Imagine you're the captain of a warship, somewhere between Earth and Mars. Your sensors detect multiple launches. Some are guided kill vehicles, others are clouds of hypervelocity kinetic projectiles. Almost immediately, your combat computer begins running simulations. Thousands, then millions. Possible evasive maneuvers, possible interceptions, possible outcomes. A few seconds later, it has an answer. Estimated probability of survival, less than 1%. The missiles aren't simply trying to hit you, they're trying to force you to maneuver. Every escape route pushes you towards another stream of incoming projectiles. Every evasive burn has already been anticipated. Every option closes another door. You order the engines to fire anyway, not because the computer thinks it'll work, but because doing nothing is somehow even worse. The countdown begins. Impact. 3 hours. Every few minutes, the prediction updates. Less than 1%. Less than 1%. Less than 1%. The horror isn't that you're going to die. The horror is that a machine has already done the maths and told you there's almost certainly no way out. So, if even your best defenses can be overwhelmed, how do you stop weapons like these in the first place? Of course, spacecraft wouldn't simply accept their fate. The moment an incoming weapon was detected, every defensive system would come alive. High-powered lasers, interceptor missiles, electronic decoys, perhaps even clouds of tiny projectiles designed to smash an incoming weapon apart. And sometimes, they would work. But defense has a fundamental problem. The attacker only needs one success. The defender needs perfection. Every incoming target has to be identified, tracked, predicted, engaged, destroyed before it reaches the ship. And every step is another opportunity for something to go wrong. Now imagine your enemy doesn't launch one projectile. Imagine they launch 100 or 1,000. Some are genuine weapons,
Others are decoys. Some weave unpredictably. Some simply force your defences to waste precious time and ammunition. Suddenly, the battle isn't about whether your laser can destroy a target. It's about whether your computers can work out which targets matter most before it's too late. Defense is the art of stopping everything. Offense is the art of getting lucky once. And as terrifying as the weapons themselves are, history suggests they aren't what usually decides wars. Something far less glamorous does. For most of human history, cities have been built for protection. Behind rivers, on islands, surrounded by mountains. Later came walls, fortresses, bunkers, underground command centres. But planets have one rather unfortunate characteristic. They can't move. Every spaceport, every shipyard, every power station, every communications hub, every factory has a fixed address. An enemy doesn't need to search for them. They already know where they are. Long before the first shot is fired, targeting computers can map every strategic location worth attacking. And unlike a fleet, a planet can't perform an evasive maneuver. It can't change orbit to dodge an incoming strike. It simply continues along the same predictable path around its star. Of course, defending a planet wouldn't be impossible. You could build orbital defense platforms, missile batteries, laser arrays, entire fleets dedicated to planetary defense. But the target itself remains exactly where everyone expects it to be. A planet is the largest sitting duck in the solar system, which is perhaps why the future of warfare may not belong to planets, or even to the people defending them. It may belong to machines. When people think about war, they think about battles, weapons, generals, heroic last stands. Military historians know better. Wars are usually won by logistics. The side that can keep its soldiers supplied, its vehicles fueled, its factories producing. Space would magnify that reality beyond anything we've ever experienced, because every maneuver costs fuel. Every change in orbit costs fuel. Every interception, every evasive burn, every mission costs fuel. And unlike a fighter jet returning to an airbase, a spacecraft can't simply pull over and refuel. It has to carry almost everything it will ever need. Fuel, food, spare parts, replacement crew. Every kilogram makes the ship heavier, which means you need more fuel to move it, which makes it heavier still. Even travelling between planets isn't as simple as pointing your engines at your destination. The planets are constantly moving. Launch too early, and you'll arrive where the planet used to be. Launch too late, and you may have to wait months for the next efficient transfer window. Suddenly, wars aren't just being fought with fleets, they're being fought with calendars, with orbital mechanics, with carefully planned supply lines stretching across millions of kilometres. A brilliant admiral can still lose if the fuel ships don't arrive. The deadliest weapon in the solar system might be a spreadsheet. Throughout history, technology has steadily pushed humans further away from the battlefield. First came bows, then artillery, then guided missiles. Today, drones are already changing the way wars are fought. Space may simply take that trend to its logical conclusion. Remember, every battle is being fought across enormous distances. Every decision is based on delayed information. Every shot depends on predicting where the enemy will be minutes, hours, or even days into the future. Those are exactly the kinds of problems computers excel at. An artificial intelligence doesn't get tired. It doesn't panic. It doesn't hesitate. It can evaluate millions of possible trajectories in the time it takes a human commander to make a single decision. Future fleets may consist of hundreds or thousands of autonomous spacecraft, constantly sharing information and coordinating their movements faster than any human crew possibly could. The role of people may shift from fighting battles to defining objectives. The machines would handle the rest. The first truly interplanetary war may be fought almost entirely by algorithms. Which brings us back to where we started. Because if space warfare won't be fought by heroic fighter pilots, if battles are decided by physics, by prediction, by logistics, and by information, then perhaps science fiction has been showing us the wrong picture all along. This is Dark Beacon. Thanks for watching. Next, watch this video in which humanity has only 104 years to escape a black hole heading for Earth.